Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's Tony, and I want to help you learn how to sell t shirts and other things, even if you don't have any design experience. Today, we're going to get into type on a path, and I want to talk to you a little bit about selling personalized items and printing your own items at home. So, let's just jump right into it. In the second video in this series, we created this personalized pizza t shirt, and I'm going to explain to you how much I made from this and why I think that it's a very good idea for you to, one, be doing personalized items, and two, to be printing your own. So here we go. The price I charged with shipping for this item was $28.50. It was $24 for the shirt plus $4.50 shipping. The good thing about the personalized items is you can charge a premium. I would say I add about $5 in general to each order just to have it personalized. And I'm not making a fully custom design each time. This is a template that I created. So all I have to do is change the name and these two lines of text at the bottom. And that takes maybe a minute. So I charge $28.50. Etsy's fees, and that includes their processing fees, their transaction fees, and renewal fee for the listing was $2.74. A blank shirt costs $5.69. The materials to print this with dye sublimation, so the transfer paper and the ink, was about $1. And shipping costs about $4, counting the poly bag that I shipped this in. So overall, my profit here is $15.07. Now, if I were to fulfill this with a DTG company like I used in the past, it would cost me maybe an extra $7-8 to make this shirt. And so if you're selling 10 of these, that's $80 out of your pocket extra that you could have made and kept. So that's the big thing for me for printing your own. The other good things about printing your own shirts are that you have control of the quality. I've ordered some DTG shirts from some of the companies I use. Sometimes they're beautiful, sometimes they look awful. You just never know. And the other thing is, when you're selling and printing your own items, you can put any kind of promotional material, stickers, marketing things in the package, and you have control over that. It's more work than just having someone fulfill it, but you can make a lot more money, and you can also have full control over what you're doing. And this is with Etsy. You have even a higher level of control over your audience and marketing if you're using Shopify. But Etsy, if you're not super into marketing your stuff and getting out there and bringing people in, Etsy already has a huge community, and they're probably the easiest to sell on. But this is something that you definitely want to think of if you're making the leap from the POD sites like Redbubble or Merch, and are thinking about getting into doing your own thing. It doesn't cost a whole lot to buy a heat press and a printer capable of doing sublimation. You could go, instead of sublimation route, you can go with something like a Cameo Silhouette or a Cricut, or even a nicer cutter. But if you can save the money and invest in yourself, then there's definitely money to be made. And the other thing about personalized items is you're basically making a product that's about the person who's buying it, and not a product that's about your idea. So you don't have to sell somebody on the idea of, is this funny? Is this something I care about? Well, I guess you do have to sell them on, is this something I care about? But, a lot of people have hobbies that they're very intense about, or they're into cooking or whatever. And if you could make an item that's about them, then you've done like 90% of the work. You don't have to be seen in as the 500th person in a trending topic or something like that. So again, something to think about. And let's get into this type on the path thing. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm in Adobe Illustrator, and this should work in any app that you're using for design. It works in Photoshop, it works in Photopea, it should work in Inkscape, any of those. So I'm going to grab my ellipse tool here, which is here. And the keyboard shortcut for that is L. And this makes my ellipse. Now if I wanted to make a perfect circle, I'd hold down Shift and it would constrain it. Okay, but I just want to make an ellipse that looks roughly like this, and I can always adjust it later. Now one little trick I like to do here is I can type on this and leave this as the full ellipse, but then what'll happen is I start putting other elements here and I need to move things, I might accidentally grab this instead of the thing I'm trying to grab. So one little trick I like to do here is use the scissor tool, and the shortcut for that is C on your keyboard. And I'm going to click on this anchor point and this anchor point. And now when I grab my selection tool, I can select this and just get rid of that. Or I can keep it for later, depending on what my design is. If I want text going up this way and down that way, I can keep it. But for this design, I'm just going to trash that. And now we're left with just an upper arc, which is what I want. I'm going to go to my type tool here, and if I click and hold, it brings out this little flyout menu, and I want the type on the path tool. I'm going to click on this center anchor point, and you'll notice that my alignment is aligned right, and it's bringing it to here. So I want center aligned, and what happens is when I did that, it was aligned right, and this line here is basically the boundaries of where the type's going to go. So I want to grab my direct selection tool here with this selected. So I need to select this with the selection tool. Then grab my direct selection tool here, and I'm just going to click and drag this to the edge of my path. And I'll notice this one's a little bit off, so I'll grab this center line and just do that until my smart guy tells me it's centered. So now this is perfectly centered. So this one, I'm going to put a name. This is going to say Michael's. And we're going to change this to this typeface Balu Bina 2 extra bold, and you can find this on Google Fonts, and this is the name of it. And all of these you're going to be able to find on fonts.google.com. They're all free, and you can use them in all of your projects. And I actually prefer that to using something like DaFont, because on some of those other sites I've come across fonts that say that they're free, and then I find out later that they're not free. So I'm not sure how well that they police those. So anyways, it's just something to keep in mind. Google Fonts is really cool. Okay, so now I'm just gonna make this bigger. So I'm holding Control Shift and the greater than sign. And that's just gonna increase my size here. So now this bottom one, we're gonna come here and we're gonna change this to Pacifico regular. So Pacifico. And that one's also on Google Fonts, Pacifico. So we're gonna make this a grandma. Now if I don't like the shape of this, I can select this with the selection tool and just mouse over this here, and I can size it like that. Now if I hold down the Alt key, it'll do it towards the center or away from the center, depending on which way I want to do it. So I can do that. But now you'll notice this is distorted, this type. So I need to go, with this selected, I need to go into the character palette. And right here you have horizontal scale. I just want to set that back to 100%. Okay, and the next thing I want to do here is I have these two lines of type. I'm going to make a rectangle. So M is the rectangle tool shortcut on your keyboard. I'm just going to make a rectangle something like this. And then with that selected, I'm going to go ahead and use my direct selection tool and grab one of these little circles and just drag it in, and that's going to round off my corners. And again, I can adjust this however I want, however I think looks good. I'm going to take Pacifico again, and I'm going to type established 2021. I'm going to make that white. So I'm just going to go into my colors here, make that white. And when I resize this, I'm going to hold down the shift to constrain. Otherwise, it's going to distort it. So I'm going to hold down shift. It's going to constrain the shape. Move that right here in the middle. And then now what I want to do here is, I think I want to make that a little bit wider so it's not so close to the edge. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my selection tool, select everything, and then I'm going to go to my align tools. And there's these ones up top, and if you don't have those there is an align palette. And I'm just going to go with horizontal align center, and that's just going to center everything. And this is pretty much ready to go like that. I just need to, you would make a mock-up. You could put this on Etsy, you could sell this on Facebook Marketplace, you could sell it in your community, whatever you want to do. The one thing, this type of design, there's going to be a lot more competition because it's pretty generic, but this is also a good type of thing to have to round out your shop if you're selling a lot of different things. And here, this could be anything. So when you sell one of these, all you got to do is come in here and you could change this. And this could say, you know, whatever you want it to say. Now, something like this you might want to make a little bit bigger or whatever. Certain things don't look good with different size words, but you know, since you're designing this, you can move things around however you see fit. And that's basically it with this. Like I said, I'd go in here and change the words and just personalize it. So when this order comes in, you're going to take a minute to adjust things. Like I said, you might have to move things around, or people might want an extra line of text here or anything like that. But if I were to cut this out with my vinyl cutter, I would have to, you basically have to weed out all of this negative space. So you just have the vinyl letters, and that takes something like this. It might take you about, you know, 6-10 minutes to weed, depending on how fast you are. And if you're doing this dye sublimation, you would just send it to your printer and then print it on your heat press. So that's it for this one. Keep on doing those custom designs if you can. If you're doing on a print on demand site, this isn't going to work for you, but like I said, I would rather, for me, sell these on my own, print them on my own, and make all the money that I can, and not have someone else, you know, making as much or more than me on my designs. So that's it for this one. We'll see you in the next one, and keep on designing, and let me know If any of this stuff is working for you, I'd like to see some of your designs. I have a Facebook group. You could join that. I'll put the link in the description. But I would definitely like to see how some of you guys are progressing and offer you whatever help I can or advice, maybe some critiques. I don't know. But we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.